Welcome to the Waterproofing Systems application video. It is important to us that our applicators work to a consistently high standard to reinforce the reputation of the Bitumet brand. Please take time to watch this video. We think you'll find it both interesting and informative. We want to demonstrate various application techniques for a range of waterproofing membranes manufactured by Bitumet in Saudi Arabia. We are proud to be the New Zealand and Pacific Island agents for Bitumet, and we want to establish Bitumet as the most preferred membrane system in New Zealand. Today we look at the application of Polyflame, Synroof and Bituseal. The Polyflame torch-on membrane is a modified bitumen membrane formulated with special polypropylene polymers and distilled bitumen and reinforced with a non-woven polyester fabric. Polyflame has superior mechanical properties and is extremely durable and can be used as a single layer or double layer system. Polyflame is suitable for use on ply and concrete substrates. On this job at the National Archive building in Wellington, fillet jointed ply was used. All the plywood sheets were staggered and securely screwed to ensure minimal movement and deflection of the sheets, which can cause ponding. For a single layer system, the whole of the substrate is primed with Bituprime, a cold applied general purpose roof primer. For the double layer system, only the outer perimeter of the roof is primed with Bituprime, allowing 4 to 5 hours to dry. Always store the rolls upright to prevent them deforming, then lay out onto the ply and allow to relax before fixing. In a 2-layer system, the 2mm glass flame is first securely fixed to the ply substrate at the specified 300mm spacing using annular grooved nails and washers. Alternately, the glass flame base sheet may be spot torched to the substrate. Ensure the required 100mm side laps are allowed for. The end of the glass flame sheets are then torched to the pre-primed roof perimeter. The 100mm side laps are welded together along the edge by torching both faces until they superficially melt. Seam weld using the trowel and ensure that 2 sheets are fully welded. The top layer of Polyflame is then welded to the fixed base sheet to produce a continuous waterproof membrane. Ensure good heat control over the width of the roll. Care will be required in windy conditions. Note how only enough heat is applied to ensure that the 2 surfaces superficially melt to allow for bonding. Excessive heating may damage the reinforcing polyester layer. Offset laps between top and bottom layer. The ends of the adjoining sheets overlap 150mm and are welded together, forming a secure bond. The seams are then securely sealed, with any excess being used to bevel the overlap joint. The resulting finish is a continuous membrane securely attached to the existing roof structure. Other aspects of the application include detailing of difficult areas such as drains and gutters. Suitable overlaps of the surface faces allow for a thorough sealing of these surfaces. Multiple overlaps serve to form an impenetrable barrier to moisture. For internal and external corners, cut out the Polyflame to suit the size and shape of the corner gusset and place into position. Using only enough heat to melt the underside of the gusset, install the gusset half at a time. Weld all gusset edges to the substrate using your trowel. Ensure a good tight fit of the gusset to the corner or upstand. For installing a membrane round skylights, ensure all corners are flashed as previously described. Pre-cut your Polyflame to fit the skylight upstands. Torch the roll to about 300 millimeters from the skylight. At 300 millimeters, fold the membrane back and heat the skylight and fillets. Now heat the membrane and work over the fillet and upstands to the top of the skylight. Ensure the membrane fits tightly. With penetrations, cut a piece of polyflame at least 350 millimeters square and center it over the vent pipe. Tap the membrane on the top edge of the pipe until the pipe comes through the membrane. This will give you a tight fit. Drag the material down the pipe and torch onto the roof membrane already in place. Cut out a waste wrap about 150 millimeters in height and long enough to give 100 millimeters lap at the join. Sit the wrap down hard on the base and carefully torch around the penetration, remembering to seal the laps. Now, fully torch the wrap around the penetration. Overseal with Elastoflash and remember to coat with SunGuard for UV protection. The flexible nature of the product, combined with its malleable nature under torching, means that corners and angles are more easily addressed. As Polyflame allows for a continuous waterproof membrane, it ensures an even finish to roofs. Bitumet AluGuard further increases the integrity of Polyflame when used on the sand-finished membrane due to the inclusion of reflective, polished aluminium flakes which reflect up to 70% of the sun's harmful rays. It is essential to stir the AluGuard well, ensuring the aluminium flakes are evenly dispersed and in suspension before applying. Once applied, AluGuard beautifies the dark bitumen, reducing heat uptake and prolonging the life of the bitumen roof. Synroof High Build is an elastomeric single-pack membrane, and it is based on special acrylic polymers which are ideal for dry substrates. Synroof forms a seamless, joint-free waterproof membrane and is primarily used in traffic zones such as decks, but it can be also used on roofs and in bathrooms. Synroof is also used for roof repairs and can be applied over concrete, metal and wooden substrates. Before priming, it is vital your substrate is clean and dry and that the plywood sheets are fixed to minimize movement. An adequate slope is required to ensure that the water does not pond on the Synroof system. All surfaces are carefully primed using Synroof diluted with water up to 20 to 30%. Apply to ensure a good, even coverage. A glass fiber mat is first used to reinforce all plywood sheet joints. The areas around the join receive a generous amount of Synroof to allow for adequate bonding of the glass fiber, which is also thoroughly coated on the underside. The mat is laid and pressed into the base coat, forcing the Synroof between the fibers of the glass mat. You must ensure there is no air entrapment or bridging of the fiber mat. Use a thick, fluffy roller to draw the Synroof through the fiber mat. For covings and wall intersections, the same procedure is adopted. The surface area receives a generous Synroof coat and a liberal application to the glass fiber, which is then pressed home to ensure the Synroof passes through the fibers. The reinforcement should be worked into all the corners of the coating. Another coat is then applied to the top surface of the fiber mat and feathered out onto the surrounding surfaces. Allow a minimum of 24 hours to dry. Once dry, you can now install the membrane system. If the area is to carry traffic or is likely to sustain movement, then the whole of the surface needs to be reinforced with glass fiber mat. It is essential to get good saturation of the fibre mat. Diluting the Synroof by 5 to 10% on the first coat will help. When the Synroof is dried, remove all high spots in the base using a scraper. Remove all loose material and apply your second coat, working the product on in the opposite direction to the previous coat. Allow a minimum of 24 hours between coats and apply as many coats as are needed to achieve the required thickness. For a non-slip surface and for greater durability in traffic situations, silica sand may be added to the final coat at 0.5 kg per square meter. Stir in thoroughly. Apply the final coat, ensuring an even application. In addition, further sand can be spread onto this final coat prior to drying. Synroof can be applied to achieve a thickness of between 0.5 millimeters and 1.5 millimeters, where it dries to form a seamless, joint-free, waterproof membrane. BituSeal is a self-adhesive membrane for low to medium hydrostatic pressure applications, and as such is used for tanking, walls and foundations. As with the torch-on systems, prime your substrate with BituPrime and leave to dry. Ensure the substrate is clean and dry and dust-free. It is particularly important to keep lap areas free from dirt to ensure good adhesion as for the torch-on materials. Cut and install your internal and external gussets as for torch-on. Remove the backing paper and place gusset into position, ensuring good adhesion by pressing firmly into the fillets. Work the gussets to smooth any creases and overlaps. As the material adheres on contact, take care with your initial positioning. Once the corner flashings and gussets are in position, cut required lengths off the roll and lay out to relax. Position the cut length roll and peel back approximately 300 millimeters of the backing paper. Ensure the roll is parallel to the substrate edge. Press into position. Carefully peel back the backing paper on the underside, rubbing with even strokes to ensure good adhesion. Avoid creases and air bubbles or any stretching of the material. Set out your next layer in a similar manner, but ensure your lap is matching the removable salvage edge. Remove the facing paper, exposing the BituSeal salvage edge. Carefully position and pull out the subsequent length, ensuring a good bond along the salvage edge to ensure a watertight seal is achieved. For vertical surfaces, ensure protective backing boards are supplied and fitted. Take care not to damage the BituSeal membrane. Appropriate drainage should also be allowed for to remove water quickly. With foundation surfaces, for example binding concrete, ensure heavy filled polythene is laid over the BituSeal prior to the placement of the concrete. Thank you for taking the time to watch this training video. For further information about products or application techniques, please contact Waterproofing Systems Limited.